This news update is brought to you by
Grab somebody and tell them hello. Pure happiness will be connect to flow. Smile and cheer because that is we flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow, yeah. Grab somebody and tell them this is how we flow. Pure happiness will be connect to flow.
Good morning and welcome to the Barbados Today News Update. It's Tuesday, December 1. Thanks for joining us. I'm Frenella Wedderburn. Topping the news this morning, 2 shootings and a stabbing marred yesterday's Independence Day celebrations in separate carnival events. 1 man is dead and another is nursing gunshot wounds following 2 shooting incidents during the St. Philip Carnival. Dwayne Burgess was shot during an altercation at Ruby Main Road around 5 p.m. Police say Burgess, who is in his 30s and from Marley Vale, died at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital after he was transported there by ambulance. No one has been arrested so far. Meantime, another man whose name has not been released was also taken to hospital following a shooting incident, this time in Workman Hall, St. Philip, and we'll have more on that incident as more details come to hand. At the same time, investigations are underway into a stabbing of a female during the Orange Hill Carnival. The incident occurred around 2:30 p.m. on Lancaster Road. The victim's health status is unknown at this time, but police say she was taken to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital for treatment. Another female is in police custody following that incident. Meantime, some Barbadians living in New York have been voicing their concerns about the level of crime and violence in the country. They spoke to Barbados Today during the 49th Independence Extravaganza put on by the Barbados Consulate recently.
But I think Barbados have to realize that Barbados does not have a lot to offer besides tourism. And you have to make the island as safe as possible to encourage people to come. You don't want to have to be bottled up, closed up, looking back behind you. And I think the police have to be abreast, go and be trained and see what is going on with the young people because they're smarter than them. And all the ones that come back here with following all whatever is going on in the world, and the young people, I don't know, we grow up differently. They're too Americanized. They cannot let the politics of America rule Barbados.
To be honest with you, that I say, whatever is happening in North America is moving into the Caribbean islands, not only Barbados per se. And I guess it's a matter of the government getting their hands around what is going on to combat be it crime, be it drugs, etc. It is something that is happening throughout the Caribbean. And it just is a matter of the government getting their hands around what is happening there.
In other news, poultry farmers are being warned that the avian influenza virus affecting the poultry sector in the U.S. could have implications for the Caribbean economies. The warning comes from Barbados' representative at the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, Ina Harvey. Harvey says more than 90% of hatching eggs and day-old chicks required in the region for the production of table eggs and broiler meat are sourced from the USA. And given the heavy dependence on the U.S. products, there is a real threat of the virus entering the region.
I heard an interesting statistic from the head of our Ag Health and Food Safety Unit in headquarters just 2 weeks ago, that Minnesota alone produces 47 million turkeys. That's a lot of turkeys to eat. The effects on these businesses cost over $950 million US. With our heavy dependence on the import of hatching eggs and day-old chicks from the USA, and given our high levels of consumption of poultry meat products, we eat a lot of chicken in Barbados and the Caribbean. Our very food security and the livelihoods of the producers, our tourism industry, across Barbados and the region are under threat.
Harvey was addressing the biodiversity workshop for local egg and poultry producers on the weekend. A Barbadian cleric is urging the older generation to keep the country's cultural heritage alive. Chairman of the General Assembly of God, Reverend Lennox Boyce, says it is the responsibility of the elders to ensure that the younger generation are fully educated about their culture. Boys made the appeal while delivering the sermon marking Barbados' 49th independence anniversary at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center over the weekend.
You see, we are not here forever. And so the way to ensure that our heritage is lasting is to entrust it to the generation that is emerging. Children need to be taught respect for self and respect for their peers, respect for property and respect for persons in authority. Children need to be taught decency and good manners. They need to be taught conflict resolution skills and fairness and compassion. And I want to suggest that as adults, many of us have dropped the ball in this regard. But if we're going to be guardians of our heritage, we can't drop the ball because the stakes are too high.
In sports, the West Indies are aiming to exploit some of the weaknesses in the Australia team when they meet for the Test series this month. West Indies entered the series as heavy underdogs with just one win in their 7 tests this year and are languishing at number 8 in the IICA Test team rankings. But Captain Jason Holder is hoping that his regional side will capitalize on some kinks in Australia's armour, which were exposed during the just concluded series against New Zealand.
Yeah, there's some new faces mixed with some guys who've been, in some rich veins of form. It's important that, we just put some pressure on their middle order. I think if you get early wickets with a new ball, we can get guys like Sean Morrison, those guys who've not trying to make their way back into the side, putting them under some pressure to score. I think once we could do that, it should be a relatively competitive series. Obviously they have some informed batsmen, as I said, David Warner and Steve Smith. So it's just important that we, put some pressure on their middle order and just try to get them out early and put the newer guys under some pressure.
West Indies face Australia in the first test of the 3-match series starting in Hobart on December 10.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Twas days before Christmas, I had so much to do. Shopping, more shopping, and I was feeling blue. There's a mother, father, a wifey, and friend. Lots of things to buy, but there was no money to spend. I found the answer. The BT shopping spree. 15,000 in goodies, free, free, free. It's easy to enter, nothing hard to do. Follow my instructions and a winner can be you. Visit facebook.com/Barbados today. Do it quickly and fill out your form to enter this spree. Look, I'm shopping at the Cost You Less Mega Store. Come down, fill your trolleys with goodies and more. And like me, you too can say, ho, ho, ho.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
To news from our region, Barbadian political activist David Commission has called on the electorate in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to vote the Ralph Gonsalves-led Unity Labour Party back in power. Speaking on the party's platform over the weekend, Commission touted the works of Prime Minister Gonsalves, saying he was a man who fought for the rights of Caribbean people.
I understand that there is some strange person, some peculiar person, some befuddled person in St. Vincent who has suggested to the black people of St. Vincent that they should not support Ralph Gonsalves. I tell you this, if black people do not support the one leader who consistently stands up and defends the dignity and rights of black people, who will they support?
On the international scene, at least 16 people are confirmed dead after fights between inmates turned deadly at a Guatemala prison. Prison officials say they have yet to take control of the prison, which is located some 37 miles south of the Guatemalan city, as they await reinforcements. According to the Deputy Interior Minister, Elmer Sosa, about 2,300 inmates, some with guns, were engaged in a standoff with 500 members of the security forces. However, they are unsure what triggered the violence. Reports say the jail is notorious for overcrowding and violence. And on that note, we come to the end of our morning update, but there is more on our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, our email updates, and of course, like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 101 on Flow TV and the Mix 96.9 FM. There you can get all the latest news and sports. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Do have a wonderful day.